All right. Let's get some music going. This is the biggest challenge of it all. To find music that I can stream. Um, you need to post this here. Your current resolution is not supported. Really? That can't be right. All right. Testing. Okay, I think it's working now.
The little parking pay machine right there, and some stairs. A motorcycle can be parked diagonally. Why not? There's probably one too many here. Cool. We need like a dirt road. It doesn't make sense for there to be like paved asphalt everywhere out here. Maybe like one paved asphalt road that just goes all the way down. That'd be kind of nice. I don't know. that looks like so far. I really want that road to be flush with the ground. That's going to be really hard to do, of course. But if I cut around the road on the train, I might just do that. Like right under the road. I'll try it with this stuff. It won't be the prettiest geo in the world. In fact, it will be very ugly. Actually, it has to be like It's so ugly. But it does work. Isn't there like a remesh add-on? it's a road. Cool. Then maybe another small parking lot out here. The road does feel like a little thin, but I don't have much to work with. This, we want like a little stairwell thing. Probably needs to be its own object. Called like SNH stairs 1. By stairs, I mean the beach ramp. So I'm not gonna model stairs. name of this material? Okay, that didn't take any changes. Do that. Oh, we've got stairs. Got the UV map this again. I don't know why I'm looking up in person. It's not like it's gonna help me. There's probably a way to launch it up and then get on it at the same time. I need to redo the collider on this thing too. It's too expensive. The auto-generated collision is essentially unusable. Let's give it some collision. Definitely want it to have detailed collision at the bottom because that's where you're going to be interacting with it most of the time. But for the other parts of it, there's this doc called FBX Static Mesh type pipeline that tells you what shapes it supports. Capsule, sphere, box, and convex, so a UCX is fine probably, so we can duplicate this and then UCX. And then in here. So that's probably good. And then we want collision on these bottom parts. Probably gonna have like a box spider for each of these little things. EX. That's it. Not gonna lie. Oh, the song is not good. I'm skipping it. Okay, it's almost over. Hello, welcome to viewers. Probably something like that. But then another one. Instead of it. There. Cheap colliders. Just duplicate this around. There, bunch of colliders. I gotta rename them. Let's give this a try, see if it even works. Hey, what's up, Chili Fortress? You didn't miss much. You didn't miss much. I started streaming maybe like 30 minutes ago, and I'm working on. Well, I'll show you in just a second. Working on some beach stuff. Like this parking lot thing that I'm blocking out in a road that goes all the way over here to the bonus jump challenge. Some of you are familiar with. And there's gonna be another parking lot over here, and there's gonna be some cars that spawn at each parking lot. And then I plan on adding like beach umbrellas and like towels and people on the beach and stuff, like people playing volleyball right here. There's gonna be like a volleyball mini game. Yes, the famous Gear Grit Beach. Absolutely. I'm doing whatever I can to not work on Sector 2 because I'm just procrastinating really hard on it. And then this I just did with the Citadels, I optimized the collision so it's cheaper. So like now if I walk up to it, it has very basic collision. Doesn't need super detailed collision, just needs something. Yeah, there's this little parking lot. I'm gonna try finding as many exploits and game breaking bugs as I can. You know, that's part of the fun. I won't stop you. I'm not super anal about like fixing stuff. Basically like my rule of thumb for fixing anything is if an average player can find it by accident too easily, then it needs to be fixed. But if it's something you have to go out of your way to do, then I don't care. Like out of bounds stuff, I don't mind. An example would be like, let's say that you do the hotel, or I forget what it's called. It's called like High Life or something. Mile High Club. Let's say that you do the Mile High Club collectible, and you jump out of the map, and you can't get back in. That would be considered game breaking. It would have to be fixed, even though it's cool and out of bounds or whatever. So like, that's why when you attempt that now, it just like force applies fall damage on you when you get out of there.
Come on, almost. That didn't count. Run it back.
That one's hard to do.
Oh, yeah!
Recently I did some changes with like how movement feels. A lot of like, the demo doesn't have a lot of negative reviews, but every single negative review basically calls the game too floaty. So like, the last week or two I've been just trying to figure out like, so like you can see that the jump is already like, has more gravity applied to it compared to the current live version of the demo. Like she falls to the ground so much faster. Which that should help. Oh, what'd you say? I haven't experimented much on it. Also forget, but does Tansy slow down after running for a while after the roll gun? Thanks. Yeah, it feels better too. She does, but like I can show you exactly how much, so she decelerates from 41 miles an hour pretty quickly down, but you can chain it, so like you can do this. That spin thing is a new ability, but it's functionally the same as it was before. She goes the same distance. It's just now she has like an attack, so you can like launch yourself into people and do like multi-hit. Yeah, the roll. Yeah, that Twitter post was just a joke because I got it to work on the ground and you could like roll around. Not sure if I'm gonna allow that. Maybe it can be a cheat code or something, but by default it won't be a thing. I've been trying to debug some like nav bugs. I do think most of it's caused by, for some reason, the police officers have like double the navigation ticks. I had a feeling it was gonna crash there. You can just kind of feel it. Yeah, the game is progressing. I try to avoid showing like new content on streams and Twitter, like rooftop level and stuff, but you've seen some of that, I'm sure, from the Kickstarter. It does feel like working on it myself, right? It does feel like progress is really slow, but that's because I watch every single hour of progress. So to me, it seems like nothing's happening, but sometimes I have to reel back and look at it from outside and be like, oh yeah, there's stuff going on now. I always like seeing someone post a snippet of the game and then years down the road it comes out. How Pizza Tower? Yeah. No, I followed Pizza Tower back in Tumblr too. Yeah, I remember that. I met a lot of my like first online game developer friends from Tumblr days, and I was barely a game developer back then. I was just like making 3D models and goofing around. Thank God we didn't lose nothing. We didn't lose nothing. Okay, so let's figure out what it said I modified. Let's see what this even is. The terrain. So yeah, we did change that. Okay. Be right back. Okay, yeah, no problem. Where was I? All right. The police officers, for some reason. Oh, I can fix this too since I'm in here. Years ago, or not, yeah, almost years ago, like a year and a half ago, I put this like spline thing in here, and I decided not to use this. I'm just gonna do this. It's a little goofy looking, but whatever. interval. That's way too high of an interval. Can I change that default to something else? I can, yeah. One-tenth of a second. I wonder if the civilians already use that. One-fourth? Yeah, let's make that the default. 1/4 of a second, so it's probably more than good enough. I think just hitting the nav mesh that often is like tanking. And they aren't even... It's supposed to be trying to... I guess they are kind of trying to find the... Yeah, I guess it's working. That red dot is the spline path that they're following, and then the... it's funny. This... NPCs... Oh, that's interesting. So when they're walking... Oh, the blue flips sides. Why is that? I need to look at that now. I swear I find a new bug like every 5 minutes. So the green is right all the time, but the blue isn't. Weird. The blue flips sides. Get actor right vector. And that is the green. Oh, okay. Watch these NPCs again. Okay, so for him, it became correct after he passed that threshold. So if I follow... think it's just because the nav mesh is thin around some of these areas. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's just really thin. Radius of smallest agent. That can't be the right radius. I don't think. Let's see. Character radius. $35. Let's do what? Like 15? Does that even do anything? Not really. It's not generating close enough to this thing. Oh, it thinks this is a low height area. Is that why? The whole time? How tall is a character? 180? Okay. The door was affecting nav. Is that really why? But really, it should be closer than that. It's like pathetic. So that would explain some things. Now, I think it goes. Nav mesh resolution, and then set this like, yeah, that'll do it. Make high res, like tight like that, then I can go around and mark areas that are like, that need to be high res. So that'll work. So default can be 65, 64. High res can be 16. Low res can be 32. Oh wait, that does make sense. 120. So now you can look around. Oh, you're back. Welcome.
Your heart's running away with your head. Come on.
So this green mesh.
I thought it all out.
Hold on.
It just
Fucked it
wouldn't
up.
work.
This green mesh is called the nav mesh, and basically it determines like where NPCs can walk. So you can see like they have a very thin actual path that they can walk on right here. Of this volume, which is a nav mesh modifier volume, I can place it down on top of an area that I want to be higher res. So this will generate a higher res nav mesh right here. And to be honest, I didn't even know
Done that well.
this was a thing until like earlier today. I was watching a video about it. Trying to only put it around areas that like the NPCs are getting stuck at, so they can move a little bit better.
Come on. We'll do it.
Here's another one that probably needs it. This area definitely needs it. I remember they get stuck here all the time. Yeah, so that's high res. Yeah, I just learned about that today. It's like super helpful. Don't want my NPCs to get stuck. Your non-dev, game dev, your non-game dev brain can't comprehend. That's a yes. There's a lot going on. Basically, NPCs, like the civilians in the city, walk around on that green mesh that you saw on the screen, and they can only walk on there. Games have, most video games have a system like that. It's called navigation mesh. Just it tells the AI where it can't walk because it would be too expensive for it to compute the whole game's geometry every time it tried to walk somewhere. So it computes like a much lower resolution geometry to see where it can go. That's basically the easiest way to explain it.
I have often dreamed of a far off place where a hero's smile would be waiting for me, where the crowds would cheer.
Curious to see. Oh, yeah, he walked right through it. Nice. Yeah, that's good.
And the voice keeps saying,
Getting them to walk around and look okay has been an ongoing battle, basically, since I added them.
the distance I will find. If I can be strong, I know every mile will be worth my while.
Ah, Why do they walk around this? Let's try that. So all I did was just move it out. Cause like they were deciding to walk this way for some reason. I guess like the distance was technically shorter. Let's see if they do it again. No, yeah, they're working now. Nice. Yeah, AI pathing seems to be very much improved. Nice, yeah, they walk around each other. Oh. I haven't looked at this path in a while. He like walked in the gutter for a second.
I will go the distance. I will search the
It looks like that the path
world. I will face its
spline
harms. I don't care how far.
might just be a little too...
I can go the distance till I find my hero's welcome way.
Spline point linear.
In your arms.
Same with this one. I like made it worse. Wait, is that? What the hell? Oh, it's a spline point. It's like out of bounds. Oh, weird. What the fuck? Select all spline points. Spline point. Constant. Spline point. Linear. Okay, that's better. I think they should really all be linear. Otherwise I just like can't predict where they're gonna walk. No, I'm skipping Salvatore Ganacci as much as I like it. Okay. Select all spline points. Linear. Let's look at this. Yep. Let's redo this. Yeah. Looks okay. Okay, that's probably fine. Alright, back to the beach. I like see this. This is why the game isn't done. It's because I get distracted. spots over here. Cool.
Here's a dance you ought to do. Let me introduce to you posing. Everybody pose. Here's a dance you ought to do. Let me introduce to you posing. Everybody pose.
I need more cars too, but that's not important right now.
Get a partner, then we can hold whatever pose you're in. Posing. Everybody pose. Get a partner, then we can hold whatever pose you're in. Posing. Everybody pose. Everybody, everybody, everybody dance. Everybody, everybody, everybody dance. Everybody, everybody, everybody dance. Everybody, everybody, everybody dance.
It's gonna fall off. Cool. Floating palm tree must fix. Emergency fix. Kinda wanna swap that out for a different one.
Hold whatever pose you're in.
Get rid of that. It's better. Different rotation. Cool. Yeah, my idea is to have a bunch of like side missions out here. This is the one I made first, which is just like a basic break the crates time limit thing. But there's gonna be like a little volleyball mini game where you have to keep a volleyball in the air. It'll probably be over here. I want to have a race out here too. Probably starts over here. And it'll probably be taking up the whole beach. Like have you go this way and like around here. Be kind of fun. Anyway. Oh, I'm about done working on it for now. Do cars fly over water? Right now there's an invisible wall on the coast where you can't like go too deep into the water, so no, they don't. But if I do add water in the game, I will make them go over the water, and then like I would make the water like kill you or something. I don't think I'm gonna add swimming because even Jak 2, like Jak 1 had swimming, but it was like very limited. Jak 2 had swimming too, but you couldn't do anything. Like you were just like swimming on the surface, and it was only in like one area in the game in the city. The hover cars did go over the water in Jak 2, but like swimming served no purpose in Jak 2. I just don't know how important swimming is. It would take like a lot of effort to get to work, and I don't know if it would be worth it. Sly Cooper has swimming. I actually haven't played it since the PS2 was like a relevant latest console, so I don't remember. But now I'm gonna look it up. Sly Cooper swimming. When you land in water, it damages you, places you back on land. Oh, that's what you meant. Yeah, it'll be kind of like that. I think like the first version I'll do will be, yeah, you touch the water and she does like a drowning thing and then falls down and then it like does a quick screen wipe and respawns you. Yeah, something like that. But maybe, yeah, I mean, you have a good idea. Like maybe the hover cars can be the way you get over water. But it opens up a Pandora's box of like, if I do that, then people will assume they can drive the hover cars out into the ocean, and then that just like makes the game like a million times bigger. And I don't know if I'm willing to commit to that. Maybe I can have like buoys out there with like, if you go past the buoys, like you get blown up by some like military boat or something. You know, it's an excuse to let you drive it out there or something. Maybe. For now, I'll leave the invisible wall up on the beach, and I will decide if that's worth pursuing. Like maybe toward the end of the game's development, where I'm like, hey, everything's done. Like we're polishing stuff. You want to try adding like a cool little beach um, racing thing where you race on the surface of the water with cars? Like that'd be kind of cool. You know, maybe. As cool as it sounds, I have to prioritize like what I know I can do, I guess. I do want to test the new build out on the Steam Deck because I made some performance improvements to the AI because the AI pathing was the most expensive thing in the game. It still is. Yeah, we'll see. Right now, right now I would say I am slightly behind schedule. I assumed that I would be at least partway through Sector 2 by now. But in fairness, the rooftop level and the prison level, or no, the prison level was always part of the plan. The rooftop level was not part of the plan, but it was such a good idea that I had to do it. The rooftop level is the level that like kind of bridges Sector 1 into Sector 2, like story-wise, and it unlocks Sector 2 and stuff like that. But that took maybe a month or two to do, and that's probably why I'm behind. But it was worth it because the rooftop level is really good and it's done, so that's cool. It's a lot more content. It's like another like 25 minutes of content, probably maybe 30 or 40 if you're not that good at the game because it is kind of hard. But yeah, my build is done. Build size 800 megabytes. It went up a little bit. The ant simulator game, and then they spent it all on hookers or whatever, and it's funny. Yeah, I'm always paranoid that like that people think, not that that I would ever do this, but you know that kind of paranoia does like, you know, it's good to be paranoid about that kind of stuff, but I hope that people don't think I'm mismanaging the money. Like 40,000 is a lot, but it's also not a lot at the same time, you know, to make a game. Like I remember like 10 years ago, like Kickstarters would launch and succeed with like fucking $300,000, $500,000, you know. But they're much higher quality games than mine is. And some of them would fail. Like Mighty Number 9, they got funded like $3 million or something. Spend all the money on a 1-to-1 scale Tansy resin statue. Worth. But yeah, I mean, my 40 something thousand, it's being spent. If it were appropriate for me to do so, I would post the like exactly what I'm spending it on, but like it's inappropriate only because the contractors have their own privacy, like how much they're getting paid and stuff like that. I don't want to like, you know, devalue them in any way, um, or whatever. You know, it's just not appropriate. But I will post every once in a while how much I've spent in total. Like I just made a Twitter post like a couple of weeks ago saying that I spent like 11,000 something of the 40 something thousand. So we're like 25 cents. We're like 25% spent already. Um, and the last like 75% of that is going to be dumped into Sector 2 for sure. Maybe like 50% of it, and the last 25% will be saved for something else. Sector 2 is like, it's the biggest part of the game. You don't like mind waiting as long as the devs are passionate. Yeah, I'm the same way. I like if there's a game that I really want to play, like I don't really care how long it's gonna take to make the game myself, but um, you know, being responsible for making it, I do have those feelings that I just want to make sure that people know that I'm treating the game with like the utmost respect possible. Oh, really? What game is that you're waiting for? Little Devil. Ah, that's funny. I know a little bit about that game. My buddy and I have talked about that game for fucking the last like 5 years. Been watching it. He's been following it for longer. Um, I'm assuming that it's a mismanagement nightmare scenario where they got funding, they made their game, and then they redid the whole game like 2 or 3 times, and then they got Sony involved, and then Sony funded them, and then they still didn't finish the game, and now they have to downscope. Like I think they just mismanaged the money. I think that they got lucky with funding because their concept and their art looked so good. People were so excited for that game. Um, that they got money, but the people who were in charge of that project have no idea what they're doing, is my theory, and that they're kind of stuck in this like infinite dev hell because they just don't know what they're doing. So, but yeah, I do know about that game. The buddy of mine that I was talking about, he's sort of inspired by that game in a way. Like he wants to make that game but real. And it's funny because he's working on that, but in a similar way, he's stuck in like infinite development because when you have like a scope that high, uh, you get distracted by little things constantly, and it's really, really difficult to actually make it, especially if you're like 1 or 2 people. So yeah, it's extremely ambitious. That game, even like the reworks that they did, like they made it the overworld like a Final Fantasy overworld where you walk around, and then before that it was like completely open world with like vehicles, and who knows what it actually is. Like for all we know, everything we've seen is completely bullshotted, right? Where it's just like pre-rendered or faked or whatever. And the only real part is like the combat sections. Who knows? Nobody knows. Um, but yeah, that game's funny. It's funny you brought it up because I have a history of following that game. Yeah, they promised open world, but then it went into a mini map. Yeah, yeah, I remember that. They've shown a lot of like really pretty clips and really enticing clips, but no real like somebody behind a monitor playing the game yet because nobody knows if it's real or not. But so be it. Um. Anyway, I don't have much else. I'm kind of pooped. I've been working on stuff for like the last 3 hours. I only streamed like an hour of it, so I'm kind of tired. But it's safe to say you won't be getting your exclusive sword and shield for it. You definitely won't. I think that everyone involved in that Kickstarter would be lucky if they even got to play it, even if it was like an alpha or something. I think that they spent all the money and then some Um, it sucks to see that happen, but I mean, precisely my point. I don't want people to think that I'm going to become that because that's like one of my biggest fears. I think I've proven that I won't in a sense because I released a demo and that people can play it. Whether the demo is like good or not, I mean, people think it's good, and the full game is basically just going to be the demo but more. So I hope that that at least alleviates people's fears that like, oh, like this will never come out, it'll get delayed. I think the worst that could ever happen to Gear Grit is that we approach the end of 2027 and for some reason I'm not done. But I'm close. That's what I predict. It would be the worst case. The best case scenario would be I release early. I would love to release early. I would love to release mid or early 2027, like a year early. It's possible, um, but it's going to be hard, especially with the pace that I'm going at. I think once I get behind Sector 2 a little bit, I'll feel better about it. But yeah, it'll be a while. I know people were kind of, some people commented on the Kickstarter and stuff. They were like, really? December 2027? I'm like, well, that's like my pessimistic date. You know, my optimistic date's earlier than that, but I think if I go past December 2027, then there's a serious problem. Right now, I'm like barely on track. I'm a little behind. I need to catch up. Like the plan being Sector 1 beach, weapons factory, rooftop level, sewers. All of that I just mentioned is like the first third of the game. That is almost done. So 30% of the game is almost done, is what I'd have to say. The second 30%, because I'm doing it in thirds kind of, the second 30% is Sector 2. And Sector 2 is just going to be the open world Sector 2, which is going to have a lot of stuff to do. And then there's going to be the dungeon attached to it, just like the weapons factory is the dungeon for Sector 1. A boss fight, and then there will be a mission where you get to backtrack through the previous sectors and the next sector to disable the pylons from the main citadel. And that will be Act 2. I'll just talk, Axe is the perfect way to do it. Act 2 will be done by then. And then Act 3 starts, and it's the last sector of the city. And I won't say what it is because I want it to be a surprise. The last sector of the city is going to be one of the coolest, if not the coolest, of them all. But it won't be as big as Sector 2. It'll be maybe like half the size of Sector 2. And then you'll beat that act, and then there'll be the final boss fight / ascension. You'll be able to ascend through the citadel all the way to the top, and then there'll be a final boss fight. And that's the game. So in Sector 3 will be the shortest out of them all. Because that Act 3 includes the final boss fight. So the game is 3 acts. I'm imagining it's going to be like 6 to 8 hours long, maybe, for like the first time player, maybe less. Let's just say 6 hours would be like the median time to beat the game. So 6-hour game with replayability, not counting 100% of the game, for $15. I think that's fair. That's kind of why I picked the, yeah, if you beeline it, yeah. Like if you beeline it, first time player with no experience, like for us it's going to be faster because we played the demo a bunch and all this other stuff. But like the first time player playing it should be 6 hours to beat the game for $15. I think that's fair. There are other games like in this bracket that are like half that length or half that length with not as much depth for the same price or less. So I think it's like a fair middle ground. But yeah, I think $15 doesn't change it. I think it's going to be $15 no matter what. But yeah. Should be enough content. I imagine that Sector 2 will be started and maybe halfway complete by the end of this year, like before the end of this year. And then I'll finish Sector 2 mid 2026 or early 2026, hopefully, for quarter 1. So like March will be done Sector 2. And then I'll start Sector 3. And then I'll finish that by the end of that year. And then the final boss fight will take up a couple months, like 4 months. So if I had to give a guess, like April 2027 is probably when the game's going to come out. probably. If I keep up the pace I'm doing now, I would love to go faster. It's just hard to do um, having a full-time job because I can only work on this at night after work or like on the weekends. So it's like kind of hard. Luckily, the Kickstarter money makes it a lot easier because I can hire a bunch of artists and sound effect people and music and stuff like that, which I have been. Anyway, that was my long rant on Gigarit development. So, but yeah, that's that'll be do. Oh, let's look at this. What is this? Oh, I already replied to these. Will this game have more? There will be support for the most spoken languages, form of subtitles. What would you say the most spoken languages are? Most spoken languages. Some of the most spoken languages. English, Spanish, French. I had a list before, but I just don't remember off the top of my head. Chinese, Mandarin, Japanese. That's probably it. Maybe Italian. There will be support for some of the most spoken languages in the form of subtitles for all spoken dialogue and text boxes. English, Spanish, French, Chinese, Mandarin, Japanese, Italian. Yeah, I already have like the code back in for that stuff, for the localization stuff. So that's good. It's gonna be a fun one doing that. Anyway, I'm gonna stop streaming. Thanks for hanging out, Chili Fortress, and one other anonymous viewer that I can't see, but sorry you joined a little late. But I was streaming some Gear Grit stuff, so maybe I'll do this again soon. I just wanted to try it for fun, streaming some like dev stuff. I'll do it again. All right, chill guys. Have a good one.